Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Honey Let's Talk.
Where we say
When we talk,
we make it better.
My name is Shadi.
And my name is Purity.
And today we're continuing with our conversation about signs you are in an unhealthy relationship.
Exactly.
Unhealthy, yes.
An
unhealthy relationship. So last week we talked about insecurity and how you need to deal with insecurity in your relationship to get yourself into a healthy place with your partner. And today we're going to talk to you about the second part of this series.
Yes, which is comparison. So there are two types of comparison. Would you like to explain?
Yes, so there are two types of comparison. So there is positive and the negative comparison. We're not saying all comparison is bad. There is a positive comparison, and positive comparison is divided into two. Positive upwards and positive downwards. So positive upwards is whereby you compare your relationship with someone else that you want to, maybe you admire their relationship and you want to be like them. Like someday you want to get there. Maybe, for example, you have this couple that treat each other nice, they love each other, and they become like couple goals. That becomes a positive upward. There's a positive downwards. The positive downwards is whereby you compare yourself with a relationship that is not working. Maybe you say, at least for us, something is working, and that is positive downwards. But today we want to concentrate more on the negative comparison. A negative comparison is whereby you're pushing each other to be like someone else, and you'll never be like those people.
Exactly. So this can be in different ways, as my husband has said. Now probably you have a couple, as my husband has said, who probably you look up to, but then maybe there's a certain lifestyle that they have that probably for you guys you do not have that yet, and so you try your best to make sure that you want to catch up with that lifestyle that probably you're not there at that particular time. So that can bring restraint in the relationship. And mostly probably if it's one of you who is looking up to or looking at another relationship and seeing that probably maybe my partner should be like the other wife or the other guy or the other lady in the relationship, and that can bring a lot of tension in the relationship.
Let me just give you guys an example. An example could be we're in a relationship, and then there are some things that I'm not doing. And then my wife is out there maybe talking to some of her friends, and maybe some of her friends, all of their husbands are doing something. And then my wife comes home and wants me to be like them. Like, hey, everybody is doing this. I'll give you an example. Maybe everybody else is buying a land, or everybody else is buying a car. And then now my wife comes in and is like, hey, this is how other husbands are doing. What are you doing? It's like now you compare me to someone else, and it starts becoming unhealthy because I cannot be that person. I will never be that person. I might improve. Maybe there are things that are not working that I might improve on, but I'll never be like that person. The reason why comparison is dangerous and unhealthy is because now when you start putting those kind of expectation to me, I start feeling like when you look at me, you see that person. And it might be maybe you're comparing me with an ex. Maybe for some of you who are in a relationship right now, you are in a relationship with this guy and you feel like this guy is not like the other guy, and you want to project what the other guy was doing to your partner that you have right now. Remember, when you start comparing your partner with an ex, it becomes unhealthy because the ex is an ex because of a reason. It's something that they did. There's something maybe they didn't work between the two of you. That's why they are an ex. So when you want that person to be like an ex, it's like you're looking for a hybrid. Okay, you want your ex in this guy, but minus the things that you don't like with your ex. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, and for sure that can bring a lot of restraint. Now, one of the effects of comparing your relationship with another relationship is resentment. That you start looking at your partner as probably they're not good enough for you, or they don't love you as the other guy or lady loves the other guy or lady in a different relationship. And also it can bring a lot of anxiety and uncertainty in terms of probably you're not where you want that relationship to be, and it starts pushing you to the limit where you don't want it anymore, because you feel, what if we never reach to the same capacity or the same way that this relationship is?
And the other effect of comparison is unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
And I will speak for us because we are married. And maybe some of you guys who are watching, you're married. If I start expecting my wife to become something else, maybe I've watched it on a movie, or it's an experience I had in my past and I've not dealt with it, I bring it into the marriage and I expect my wife to be that person. You know, if I was in a situation whereby I was engaged sexually in my past, then I get now into a relationship and I've married, and then I start wanting my wife to respond the way, you know, that other relationship was, or I want my wife to be that person, as in there's something that you're looking for, trying to picture that person, and you want it in your partner. That is, it brings a lot of unrealistic expectation. It has happened to many relationships today, and maybe some of you are there. There is an unrealistic expectation because the other partner wants you to be like someone else, or even movies, or even for some of you guys who are watching porn, it's a bad idea because you'll start now having unrealistic expectation to your wife or your partner. You know, I know you guys are dating, you're not engaging in sex, but if you're married, then it becomes a situation whereby things are not good. So unrealistic expectation will break your relationship.
Exactly. So the other thing that what comparison does also is it brings dissatisfaction in the relationship. So the relationship becomes more of a competition per se to get to a certain level that probably the two of you are not in, and therefore it brings this dissatisfaction in the part where you don't feel fulfilled, you don't feel content in the relationship, you don't even feel at peace with the relationship because you feel there will be always something lacking in the relationship. And there's one thing that I've always known about comparison is that it's the thief of all joy. So it sucks the joy out of you because you don't also accept what you have and love on what you have. You want to love on another relationship more than even you love on your relationship. If it's your husband or your partner or the person that you're dating, it removes or sucks that joy and peace out of you to even love them as they are. So you don't actually see what even to appreciate in them because you feel like they are just not it. And yet probably they are just who they are and they can't change who they are.
And the last one, which is actually not the last one, but we just wanted you guys to have these four.
Yes.
You can research more about comparison and get some of the things that are affecting the two of you. If you start experiencing resentment in your relationship and you start feeling dissatisfied and because of unrealistic expectation, you will start experiencing distance. You start being distant with your partner, and this can come from emotional, which is very bad, which is one of the things that people don't notice, emotional distance. And when the emotional distance become bigger and does not have room anymore, you start experiencing now physical distance. And this is where people now get into a place and they're like, oh, this is not my thing anymore. And the reason is, it's because you're not paying attention to the things that are drawing you away. You're not paying attention to the expectation that you're putting in your partner. One of the things that we have realized since we got married is that I will never be able to satisfy my wife 100%, because it's only God who can satisfy her 100%. It's only God who knows exactly what she needs 100%. And my job is to figure out what does God, what does my wife has that God desires me to satisfy. Because the responsibility of satisfying my partner is not mine alone. And God has not put that on me alone. There are some areas that she needs to figure out on her own for me to be able to satisfy her. But wherever I put expectation on her that she needs to satisfy me 100% without me doing anything, then she will never get there. Because there are some things that only me I need to do so that my wife can fit in and satisfy me 100%. So you start experiencing that distance. And if you already started experiencing distance in your relationship, you no longer feel, one of the things that we feel like you need to watch out for, if you no longer feel comfortable with your partner, you're no longer excited being in the same space. The spark is gone. You no longer miss that person. You know, when they call you, you're like, oh, man, not again. You know, you start experiencing emotional distance, and that's a dangerous place. But today we didn't want just to give you some effects and why this thing is wrong.
Yeah.
We'd like to give you some solution and what you need to do to get yourself back on track.
Yeah, one of them is to appreciate your partner, Probably, as my husband said, you see another man and probably they are so extroverted and they love to have fun, they love people, and your husband is probably not like that. Or the person that you're dating is very laid back, cool, calm, collected. And probably that makes you feel as though maybe this person would express themselves in a certain way. But there's a good part, there's strength in someone also who is calm, cool, and collected. So get to see what do you see in your partner that you really love, and keep appreciating those attributes. If they are very romantic in that way, in expressing in small ways, appreciate that. If they take you on a date and that's the way that they want to express their love, appreciate that. If they don't take you on holidays and vacations, appreciate that you have each other and you can actually have a date in the house. So learn to appreciate small things that your partner does every time you look at them or every time you see them.
Yeah. And the second thing that you can do just to improve yourself, we're not saying that you just stay with someone that is not making effort. Okay?
Yes, yeah.
We're saying there is the need for improvement, but it shouldn't be based on a comparison or another person that you're comparing them. You want them to be like so and so. No, they can't improve based on what you want, because it's a place of serving each other. And that's why now the second part come in. Talk about it. Talk about the things you don't like in the relationship. Sit down and say, hey, you know what? Hey, you need to, like for me, I have 6-pack. It's just that I've not arranged them. So talk about it and say, hey, you know what? It's about time you start arranging those. Those 6-packs. And it helps when you talk about it, instead of putting unrealistic expectation, instead of now feeling like, oh man, I like people who are built and stuff and all those things. No, talk about it. Sit down and say, hey, what are some of the things that we can improve? Not based on a comparison, you're comparing it to something else, but based on how can we serve each other better? How can I serve you better? What is it that you feel like will serve you better?
Exactly.
Will me coming home early serve you better? Will me being this person? Because some things, even if you compare me with them, I'm not that. If I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert. But there's a place of putting effort and saying, hey, you like when I'm outgoing, you like when I do this. So why not have a balance? That sometimes I will come out, but other times that this is me.
Yes.
I'm doing this just for you, but for me, if I'm given a chance, I just want to chill and relax.
Another point here is that you can enrich your own relationship.
Yeah.
Now, you may have so many things, as my husband has said, after talking about, maybe these are some of the things that we can do in our relationship to make it better. Enrich it. Probably see if you feel as though you fight a lot, and maybe you see a happy couple constantly, or your friends are happy couples and you're not, go see someone, get to see a counselor or a mentor couple, get someone who can be accountable to you, or even just get to see someone who you trust that you can talk to, or even go for a marriage retreat if you're married, to get to spark, remove that spark that probably you felt was gone in your relationship, or to even get to know each other even better. Or take time alone, go somewhere and just be alone and get to really understand each other, really get to know each other, just to be able to enjoy each other. Because again, if you do not enrich and build your own relationship, then other things such as now comparison, distractions, and other things will come and crash and destroy the relationship. So you gotta add more and more and more and more, other than subtracting, by bringing negativity into the relationship. So the positivity of your relationship will help enrich the both of you. And go out. If you don't go, as I said, probably to this amazing island somewhere, go probably for a walk, maybe that would help you
go to the market.
Yeah, or go to the
just
market.
Do something.
Or take a drive, or just go somewhere. Go to a park. There are so many things that you can do to enrich your relationship and build it.
And for some of you who have been used to just going and going, sometimes just chill.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
Rest, chill, slow down,
Yeah.
figure out what is not working.
Exactly.
Okay. But the other thing that we want to just give you as a solution is you need to deal with the reality.
Exactly.
The reality is real. If someone is broke, is broke. That's the reality. You know, don't expect them to do other things. If I'm broke, I'm broke. If I am, I don't know, if I can't do something, whatever that thing is, deal with the reality. Sit down and say, this is our reality. You know, we cannot afford this now. So let's figure out what other things can we afford that we can do
now.
now. Because when you now put some unrealistic expectation again, it becomes a problem.
Or pressure.
Because it brings pressure, and it gets you to a place whereby you start feeling like, what is the priority right now? Because maybe, for example, the two of you are in need of something and you want to buy it, and the reality on the ground is you don't have the money, or you have the money but the money is to do something else. So deal with that. Sit down and deal with the reality. Say, what is our reality? You know, you can watch people online, they're putting posts, they're in Dubai, they are where they're in and you start feeling like, what, we need to be like those people. You know, but the reality on the ground is we don't have the money. So enjoy that time and deal with the reality.
Exactly. And the other thing also is to pray for your relationship. You know, probably that's just a certain distraction that has come your way of comparison, and it can be just for a season, and that's where now your prayer game has to be on a top notch, you know, to get to just hear from God. Why would I feel like I'm comparing my partner to someone else, you know? Probably, and that is where God will give you the joy, the peace to even enjoy your relationship, and to also let him also show you what can you love in your own relationship instead of comparing it to another relationship. What can you love about your spouse or your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend that you feel you would be more fulfilled if they actually did those things? And say them, you know, as you pray about them, appreciate them. Let it be about good vibes, you know, in your relationship. And I feel like from there you'd be able to look inwardly. And if you need to avoid certain things such as social media, if it's making you compare a lot to your relationship, then maybe take a break from it and just focus on praying and focus on getting to know your partner instead of comparing them to someone else.
All right. And the last thing that you guys can do is you just need to enjoy the process and find a new rhythm. Okay? If you just recently got into a relationship and it's not like the other relationship, just enjoy the process. Trust the process. Go through the process. Find new rhythm. If the guy is not taking you out, if the lady is not doing some things, enjoy the rhythm and talk about it. Continue doing all these things and figuring out how can we improve our relationship. Remember, guys, if you don't make your partner the one, you'll always find another one that you want to be with. Okay? So you need, if you have decided, if you are dating and you have decided this is the person I want to marry, make them the one. Make them the most amazing person. Make them the most beautiful person. They might not be the most beautiful person in the world, but make them the most beautiful person. When you start changing the mindset to that specific angle, you start appreciating, you start seeing things that you never noticed. You know, you start seeing, you start enjoying things that you never noticed. That's why when people break up, they were in love, they start seeing things that they never saw when they were in a relationship. They start looking at the guy, I didn't know that he didn't have one leg. But you are so in love with that guy that you didn't see. That's exactly what we are saying. Fall in love with that person. If you're married, wake up in the morning and say, I know my wife can't do this, but I'm choosing you. I'm falling in love with you over and over, and make them all the one. Let me repeat that again. If you don't make them the one, you'll see another one that you want to be the one.
That's very true. That sums it up for today. We've been talking about comparison, and thank you so much for watching. If you know that someone needs this video and would benefit a lot from what we've talked about, please share this video with them. You can also subscribe and also share and let your friends know about this this video and also this channel that can help enrich your relationship.
Otherwise, guys, see you in the next
video. And subscribe. Do not forget to.